We were getting ready for the DVD release of A Player's Last Play, and I got this idea. So I called Winstead up and I said, listen, I got this idea about two coworkers who are physically and emotionally abused by their spouses. I'm going to go home and I'm going to write it. If it's good, I'm going to send it to you. If it's horrible, you'll never hear about it again. And I went home and I wrote about 10 pages in 20 minutes. Originally, I called it Raw Talk. So I gave it to Winstead and I gave it to other few people to read. And everybody thought it was great, but not complete. They said 10 pages is not enough. We want to see more. And I was thinking, I'm not writing anymore. And Wednesday would even say, oh, it's nice, but there has to be a bill. And I was thinking, well, to hell with the bill. I'm not writing anymore because I was afraid that I couldn't add anymore. I couldn't do any more with it. I thought that I was not going to be able to come up with a better story, which is a mistake if you're a writer. Always continue to challenge yourself. So a couple more months, I kept thinking about a story. I went back to the page, and the 10 pages became 40 pages, was now called A New Mentality. Antoine Owens is the definition of a nice guy. I mean, he's head over heels in love with his wife, Pam. He feels like he's lucky to have her. For him, all he wants to do is love Pam, and life is good in his eyes. He adores her. The problem is that she married him out of convenience. She recognized that this guy was in love with her, and he would do anything he could for her. And she takes advantage of him constantly. And for him, he's lived with it because for him, he feels lucky to have her, but he gets to a point in his life where he feels that he's being cheated. He shouldn't have to settle for this. And he finds the courage in himself to go out and do something to make himself happy. I mean, right or wrong goes straight out the window. It's all because I'm starved for attention. I shouldn't have to live like this, and I'm going to be happy one way or the other. I really feel like they get the short end of the stick. The nice guy, a lot of women feel like they're pushover. You know, they won't retaliate. They won't ever leave you. They'll always be there. You know, they feel like that sometimes they're very, really, really, in several cases, taken for granted because, you know, what is he going to do? You feel like he'll never leave. He'll never change. And unfortunately, in a lot of cases, that's true. You know, but the worst thing in the world, I think, can happen in any relationship is that you take somebody for granted, and one day they leave you. They don't leave you so that you can get your thoughts together, so you can get your act together. They're gone for good. But a lot of people, when you're nice, they feel like you're incapable of doing that, and they can be wrong because they never think that they'll leave. They think that they'll always be a pushover, they'll always be there. The fact of the matter is this: if you have somebody that's always there for you no matter what, no matter how bad you treat them, and there's no doubting that you know they love you, you think they'll never leave. And a lot of times they won't. But what if one day you push them too far and they do leave? I mean, it's like, for some people, it's like winning the lottery. It's like you think it can't happen. And when it does happen, it's like a living nightmare because you know you had that person that treated you the way you've always wanted to be treated. And you let them go. And they may never come back. The most important aspect I want people to take away from the film is just that if you have somebody that is in love with you, that takes care of you, that adores you, do the same for them. I'm hoping this film will give people pause who aren't cherishing those at home they have that pretty much worship the ground they walk on. And if you can think about what you're doing, I don't expect for this to change the way people live their lives because ultimately people are going to do what they want to do. But if it can give you pause, if you can imagine that good girl or that good guy leaving you because they're tired of your nonsense, then we've done our job. And if you have somebody that is taking advantage of you, you can sit down and watch this film with them and they can have a moment of clarity and say, hey, you know, maybe this could happen to me. That's the best thing that can happen. It was nice. You know, I mean, I still have my producer duties, but I didn't have to take care of every little thing on this project. I mean, I think any actor, the biggest thing you want is to be taken care of. You want to have a director that has a vision and knows how to get that vision and complete that vision. And one of the great things that WINSTEAD did on this project was there were a few things in the script that I didn't think detailed exactly, that gave Antoine, the audience, the full view of what Antoine was going through. And he added several scenes into the film that I think only made the film stronger. You know, and I had an opportunity to sit around with the crew a little bit, to rest, to not run around frantic all the time as I do a lot of times. And it was really nice. You know, I think anytime that you can get somebody that has a vision that will come on the set and work until they're exhausted and come back again, that will, there's nothing like that, and you don't get that opportunity all the time. So when you do, I think you have to cherish it, respect it, and definitely enjoy it. It's always about the story. And for me, it's always, in whatever story I'm telling, what can I bring different? What perspective can I bring that people haven't seen before, to give the audience pause, to make them think, to make them wonder? And then it's ultimately about writing characters that actors respond to. If you give a script to an actor or an actress and they aren't turned on about it, I think that's a problem. To me, you want it to be something they can relate to, that they feel is challenging, that they feel is going to basically expand their craft, and something that gets you excited about it. Something that you can do that when people look at it, they can understand it. Or if there's a certain approach you want to take, if you kind of go in a little bit left field, when you do it and it's done well, they understand it. So it's always about story for me. Nikki had showed an interest in acting, and she was doing this play about a few years ago. What I remember about it was I wasn't able to attend, but there was this tropical storm. It was some really bad weather, and she drove about 2 hours to make opening night. She had a great opening and did a great job in the show. And I just thought that kind of commitment is exactly what you want to work for. She hadn't done a lot, but to me, it doesn't make a difference. If you get somebody that works hard and that will come in and they break down, they do the work, then it's all rudimentary to me. So when it came time for that, I saw her in the role. I thought it'd be an excellent challenge for her. She agreed. Fortunately, she liked the script, and that's how she became a part of it. For Shayna, when we were auditioning actresses for A New Mentality, we were getting a lot of feedback. A lot of actresses were timid, with the language of Pam, because she's a very free spirit and she doesn't bite her tongue. So I reached out to Shayna and I said, please read these few scenes and tell me if you think there's anything here that's kind of too left field, or just a little bit too much for anybody. She read it, called me back, and told me she loved the part. She thought it was great. So when we had to recast the role of Pam, I went to Shayna, and fortunately she had a window of availability where she was available, and she did the role, which it was really good having her in that role. And for Eric, I asked him to come do a day role for us, and he kind of started moving the schedule around and was very passionate about it because he did acting several years ago. And I wrote something for us to do together, and he gave him the script on Friday. He showed up on Sunday, all of his lines memorized, prepared, energetic, and I made more mistakes than he did on that day. So when it came time to recast the role of Paul, I thought it was nobody else, and I'm glad I made that choice because he would come in well prepared. He has the passion and the enthusiasm that you really want to be around as an actor. You wish they all could be like that, and that's exactly what you want when you work with anybody. So.